Gang, and welcome back. Wanted to go ahead and go over video 2 with you. We're going to be covering the following topics: making a masthead, inserting stories, talking about spacing tips, adding drop caps, and inserting images and doing a text wrap. So let's go back and look at our document we have here. Last time we were talking, I typed out my masthead, but I'm not really good at typing. Sometimes I spell things wrong. So if I hold down Command with my text tool selected and click on that, I can hit Command I, and that brings up my spell checker. I'm going to go ahead and click the correct spelling of it and say change and done. So I'm going to find a way to stylistically make this masthead look good. And the first thing I'm going to do is cut out that word right there, the, and click and drag a text box out and make it there. I'm going to select the word cantankerous camel, and I'm going to go with Bodoni. I like Bodoni. I'll show you why. Bodoni. Let's go Bodoni 72. Let's look at the letters there. Let's make that font a little bit bigger. Cantankerous camel, and that little red box there means that there's type underneath it. So I'm going to click and drag that out. Okay, so that's looking pretty good. I'm going to click and drag here, set that up, maybe fit that letter right over the word. See how those letters, if I was to look at this area, they fit with each other? That's a sign of a good masthead. How the words and letters play with each other. It's also the sign of a good graphic designer, which I'm not, but let's carry on. Okay, so I'm going to double click on this word, hit Command A. Let's talk about the fill color, which is right here. I'm going to change it to orange. Say OK. I'm going to change this to black. Let's go all the way down here. Say OK to that. Oops, accidentally selected the wrong word. Let's pull that up there. Ah, there it's already black. Good. Okay, I'm going to fit that right there. The cantankerous camel. Now let's talk about some effects here. Let's go to Object. Oh, forgot to tell you, the effects panel is right here. If you click on it, we can do all kinds of things. Let's give it a drop shadow. Let's see what that looks like. Let's move this over here to the right and turn on your preview button. See, by default, I don't always like the drop shadow defaults. It's a little too far away, so if I click normal and I bring in the distance a little, it has a nicer little edge to it. Also, yeah, so that looks pretty good. Let's do a bevel emboss on it. That looks really good. And inner glow, that's a little too harsh. Maybe I'll bring that to normal and drop the opacity. That looks pretty good. Maybe just a little. Okay, that looks pretty good. Alright, so if I hit W right now, you can see that's what my newsletter looks like. I'm going to go ahead and click let's create a byline directly underneath this. So I'm going to have one line. Let's give the stroke color. Let's talk about fill and stroke here. See, that's your stroke color, and the other one's your fill. So let's double click on the stroke color, and let's give it a dark color. Say OK. Hold down Option and click and drag another line straight down. Actually, hold down Option and Shift. See how that created that nice little double line? We can insert stuff in there like April or June or whatever month it is. How much? So I'm going to do that. I'm going to type in April 24th, comma 2015. Command A. Let's make that something officially small. Let's go with a good sans serif font. How does that look there? Yeah, it looks pretty good. I went ahead, by the way, and chose Bank Gothic because it's going to be thin and it's going to fit right in where I need it. I'm going to hit Command A and make that a medium at least. Weight it down a little and fit it right in here. Okay, so we got that. We can pull this line down just a little with the down arrow. Cool. So we got our month. I'm going to hold down Shift and let's just click and drag this over here with the right arrow. Hope y'all are having a good day with the sub. Alright, so click here, W, bam, hit W again. That's looking pretty good. We got that set up. Let's go ahead and talk about the next step. Insert stories and spacing tips. Okay, So, first things first, short command for inserting a story is Command D. Watch what happens. I'm going to zoom in here real quick, and we're going to insert a story. I'm going to hit Command D, and by default, it goes to the place command. I'm going to go to my desktop, search for my Cantankerous Camel folder, find my first story, click on it, say open, and by default it's loaded into my cursor, so if I click just one time at the edge right there, my story falls right into it. It's pretty cool. Let's go ahead and get our other stories real quick. So I'm going to hit Command D once more. Let's go to story 2, say open. The story might be a little bit longer. By default, I want to talk to you about this. I hit, so it automatically put it in the text box that was already selected. I'm just going to hit Command Z, and it's going to fall back into my cursor. I'm going to hit Command minus zoom out a little, and maybe I'll take this story and put it on page 2. You can use a little gray ball in your mouse to scroll down to this page down here. This is actually page 3, but anyway. So if I click one time, it flows. I'm going to click one more time at that little thing right there and continuously do this. And man, this is a big story. Okay, so you remember your secret. If you're in here, we can click and select all our body copy. It's set to 12 points. Let's bump it down to at least 10. Okay, that gives us a lot of room to do some things like insert images and make it less boring. So we got that going on for us. Let's get one more story. Command D it. Find story 3. Say open. I'm going to leave a spot here for text. Actually, I'm going to hit escape real quick. Draw out a text box and give it a stroke of black. Bump that stroke up right here so I just know I'm going to place an image there later. And let's go back to that Command D command. Let's go to story, I believe this is 3. Open. Click right here. Hold down Command. Click right here. Hold down Command. Don't lose your mind. Click here. Click here. Oh, and it even inserted the image, and this brings up a good conversation. We're going to talk about where we put that image, but let's go ahead and do what we've done in the past. Get our text tool. Let's select our body copy for this article. Click and drag over it. Bump it down to 9 points. There we go. So now you see as we bumped it down, it actually placed in it the files I had to go with it. Okay, so I'm going to actually use this image here. I'm going to hit Command X, and I'm going to click on this graphic here. And I'm going to hit Edit, Paste Into. And it pasted into. Then I'm going to go to Object, Fitting. There should be a fitting button. Tell you what, we'll come back to that later. I'm going to go ahead and follow these steps. Try to get all your text in here, doing that. And I'm going to skip on to the next step, which is doing text wrap with you, which is also what we're going to be covering. Oh, before I do that, I also need to talk about spacing and drop caps. All right, so let's go to our first spread here. The first word of the article, I'm going to change the color of this guy's name, size of it to, let's change that to 11. Okay, and so if I click right here and highlight this character and click on my paragraph button right here, this is your warm-up question from yesterday, I can press this button right here. This tells me how many lines my drop cap is going to affect. I'm going to say bump over 2 lines, and for an extension of just 1 character. If I press this again, it would highlight more characters, but we just want 1 for right now. I'm also going to change the color of that. I'm going to go to something like, maybe I'll go a dark blue. Say OK. So that color is now changed, and I have created a drop cap. What's even cooler, if I select that letter and I can actually, I believe, go back to my type command, and I think I can give it a drop effect. Can I give it an effect? We'll come back to that later too. Let's just leave it the way it is right here. Command minus that. Go to our first page up here, and I'm going to sign off on this video right after I show you how to do inserting an image. So I'm going to hit Command D one last time. I'm going to go to my images, which are in my image folder. And I'm going to find the one that I need. It's right there, image 1. I'm going to click place. By default, it places it, and I can move it around, but problem is it has a white border and it's eliminating my text. So what I'm going to do is a special command. This is object. I'm going to go to clipping path options. I'm going to click detect edges, say preview, and bam. By default, it has created, if I click away from everything and click on it with my black arrow tool, a bounding box. Now I'm going to position my camel to be right here, and I'm going to click my text wrap button. So I click that. Notice the image is wrapping around my text. Even cooler, why don't we give that camel now a drop shadow. So I'm going to click this button right here. Bam. It's giving it a drop shadow. That's kind of cool, but we got this problem right here. Let's fix that. Let's go to the text wrap box, bump that up a little, and we got that going on for us. I'm not really too worried about the image hanging over, because if I hit W, you can see it's just going to get cropped off. Alright, so there we are. Stylistically, we're getting there. You know how to place images. You know how to do text wrap. Go ahead and start working on it to your degree. If you don't get a lot done, I'll get with you on Monday. Signing off. Make sure you save this. Alright, bye.